Okay, so here we have students from all over India, right? We have East India, West India, North India, and South India. Everybody, that's great. Sonam, thank you for switching your video on. We have 2DA58. Okay. And who else is there with us? Shubham, okay. Many of you. Agastya, Pushkar, Arindam Roy, Atharva, Abhishek, many of you. I welcome all of you heartily for today's evening's program with us, where we are going to discuss on facing failures. 3+1, quite interesting title, right? 3+1 responses we can give to life's inevitable events. I'm so happy to see your bright faces. I really love to speak to young people because young people are filled with hope, filled with energy, are filled with enthusiasm, and it gives me also great happiness. Each time I share the message with young people, I also get spirited up. So that's what inspires me to speak more to young people like all of you. Thank you so much for being with us today evening. Let's try to make the best use of the time. So we have 6:01 and I start my session today. This is one of my hobbies. This is one of my passions in life, share wisdom with young people. I already told you, youth is a very important part of life. Okay? It's a very, very important part of life. It's not just a part of life, rather it is one of the most important part of life. Exactly. Let's compare youth to let's compare life to a train. If we compare life to a train, then which part of the engine or rather which part of the train will be compared to the youth? Think about it. If we compare the life to be like a train, which part of the life will be compared to the engine? What will youth be equivalent to? Yes, engine. It will be equivalent to the engine. Why should it be called as an engine? Youth should be called as the engine of life. Why should it be like that? Let's think about this. It's because the engine takes the train in a particular direction. All the bogies of the train, S1, S2, A1, A2, water, B1, B2, all run in the direction in which the engine is going. Similarly, my dear friends, here is a point to note for you. Whatever attitudes, habits, and behaviors, again repeat, whatever attitudes, whatever habits, and whatever behaviors you are going to learn in your youth, they are going to form your life. Your whole life, you will be actually repeating the same attitude, behavior, and habits. So therefore, in the youth, when you are young, as most of you are, in the age group of 14 to 30, as the organizers had told me, so as you are in the youth, it is the most important time for you to develop the right attitudes towards life. It is the most important time. So therefore, I again congratulate you, all of you here present today evening. You are utilizing your time in one of the best ways by coming together to learn the right attitudes of life. I am going to discuss with you how to face failures in life. If you attend today's program with attentiveness, if you understand this, what I'm going to speak, I can assure that whatever happens in your life, whatever life's events comes in your life, you are going to be able to face it with courage, going to overcome whatever difficulties come, whatever failures come. This is what I can guarantee you, provided you hear me attentively for the next few minutes, which I'm going to discuss, and also pay attention. Learn subject matter being presented in front of you, not just attend it, right? So with this, I start my today's session. So let's wisdom talks. I want to share with you a short, small story. It's a story probably you have heard earlier, but still now today you try to hear this story properly as I repeat it with a particular important life lesson which I share with us. There was an elephant, and you know humans have been fond to somehow capture the elephants. They want to capture the elephants. So a huge elephant cannot be captured. It's very huge. It's very difficult. It has so much of energy. You have seen the energy which the elephants have. The elephants, if they use their trunk when they are full grown up, they can actually uproot even the trees, huge trees, just by one jerk. They can actually uproot the entire tree. They have huge amount of strength, right? So therefore, when these human beings, they were wanting to capture an elephant, they decided rather than capturing a huge one, let's try to capture a baby elephant. So they brought this baby elephant. The baby elephant was very small, probably just a few days old. What did they do? They tied the elephant up with the leg of the elephant with the small rope which they have, with the pole, a tiny thin pole which they had. It's like you're seeing in the photograph. So therefore, they tied the leg of the elephant with a thin pole with the help of a thin rope. Because the elephant was small, elephant was weak, elephant had just grown few days only. So as the baby elephant was trying, what happened? He was unable to come out of the rope. The rope was very hard for him to break. It was not possible. Therefore, what happened to the baby elephant? He again tried once more, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time when the elephant, the baby elephant tried to come out of that rope, to break that rope. What happened? Do you know? His legs started bleeding. As the legs started bleeding, the elephant started crying. And the human still did not let the elephant go. This elephant started crying. He sat down. Then again, from morning it became evening. He had not eaten any food, so his energy started reducing. And then he started feeling, what should I do? Next day morning, again he woke up. Again he tried. Again. So the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th time, and it was bleeding more and more. There was a wound which was coming, and it was increasing in depth because of his trials to come out of that rope, from that situation. And then what happened? Finally, by the evening of the second day, as the baby elephant was fasting, the baby elephant decided something which he did throughout his life. What did he do? He decided, I am not going to try anymore to pull this rope because it is useless. Though the attempts of the elephant failed, that was not a problem. The problem was the baby elephant declared himself to be a failure. My dear friends, failures are going to come in everyone's life. The point is, what are you trying to do at that point of time? How do you respond to it is very, very important. So therefore, what did this baby elephant do? He just gave up the entire attempts. He declared himself as a failure in life. And therefore, now the elephant grew up bigger and bigger years later. Even when the years had passed, when he has grown up in huge size and he had so much of strength, even at that time also, the elephant did not attempt to break that tiny thin rope as you are seeing in front of your eyes on this computer screen. Can you see what's happening? Although he is a huge size elephant, and maybe any one of us, if we go and give an advice in the big, huge ears of this elephant, we will say, come on, my dear elephant, you can do this. Just give a jerk, a small jerk. Why don't you give a little bit of jerk? Even with 1% of the energy of the elephant, he would have been able to break the rope, but he is not attempting. You know why he's not attempting? Because the failures which the baby elephant has faced earlier have formed his attitude that he is a failure. I am not going to try anymore to break this rope because it's going to bleed, it's going to pain, it's going to be difficult, so let's give it up. So my dear friends, are we going to be like this elephant, or we have a different approach towards life? Is all this session about? This session is going to be in 2 parts, because we have 1 hour today, and then we have a 10 minutes of question answers round in the end. And the next week, if you come, we have the second part of this session, which will be relate. So today I'm going to talk about 2 different ways people look at the same situation. This is something which can change your lives, my dear friends. Please pay attention on this. 2 ways people look at the same situations. First of all, I'm going to discuss in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to talk about the realities of life. Dear friends, the reality of life is something which you have to know, and you have to know it very well, because all of us are going to face the same situations in our life. Everybody is going to see the differences. It's just like the movie, which is just relaying itself again and again. Same type of situations keep coming in everyone's life. However, what way we respond is completely up to us. And if we gain some knowledge, if we gain some wisdom, we can learn to change the response. For example, if this elephant had to attend today's session, imagine if this elephant had to attend today's session, what will happen to his life? His life will be completely different. After attending the session, he will say, oh really? It's just so easy. If I just have to just pull a little bit of this rope and it's going to break, it's going to come out. So many times, dealing with situations which we are into is as easy as just seeing it in a different way, right? Believe me, that's how it is. So let's go ahead and let's try to learn the realities of life for the next 15 minutes. You are with me? If you are with me with this, if you like this story which I said, and you are with me right now, you can say, Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You can please write on your chat box, yes, I am. So I see that everybody is there with me. Right? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Because I have to see that everyone is there. I know that this is a digital age, and along with watching my lecture, many of the people sometimes go to other websites also. They start playing YouTube videos also, which I don't want at this point of time. I want your attention to be with me. So, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. That's great. That's great. That's great. You are with me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. All right. Let's go ahead then. Okay. So, what is the reality of life? What is the reality of life? Reality of life is this, my dear friends. Whoever you are, whether you are a son of a millionaire, whether you are a son of a billionaire, whether you don't have any money in your pockets, whether you are from IIT, whether you are from a local institute, whether you are young, whether you are poor, whether you are Hindu, Muslim, Christian, whatever you are, whatever background you come from, whether you are from East India, North India, South India, whatever India, or outside of India, okay? Wherever you are from, the reality of life does not change. Please remember this. The reality of life does not change. And what's the reality of life? It's going to be shocking. Believe me, it's going to be shocking. And I'm going to tell a lot of stories from my life today. Okay, it's going to be shocking. The reality of life is you cannot change. Reality is there are going to be failures. Even if it's shocking, it's good to learn this. Why? Because no one in this world can avoid failures. No one. Even if you are an Einstein, you cannot avoid failures. Even if you are Bill Gates, you cannot avoid failures. Even if you are Steve Jobs, you cannot avoid failures. Even if you are going to be a CEO tomorrow, you cannot avoid failures. Even if you are going to be a saint tomorrow, you cannot avoid failures. Whoever you are going to be, you cannot avoid failures. It cannot be avoided. If something cannot be avoided, we need to learn to face it, isn't it? If something cannot be avoided, we need to learn to face it. If you don't learn to face it, and then failures come, you will become a failure. If you do not learn how to face failures, there is a chance that you can become a failure, which I don't want, which none of us want. Is there anybody in this world who wants to become a failure? No one. Well, I have seen this. Have you seen this? Let's see. Let's talk about it. Have you seen this? In the India, it's a very amazing place. It's a very amazing place, especially when the exam times come. And because most of your students, so therefore I'm going to give this exam. When the exam time comes, oh my God! Suddenly, that student who has never gone to temple throughout his life, he suddenly comes in front of a temple and starts ringing the bell. It starts jumping up and down and starts praying. Oh my God, pass kara dena. Please give me some marks. I want to pass this exam. Tough exam. What is the exam he's going to write? He's going to write the exam of biology, and he's going to write about Darwin's theory. He's going to talk about everything has come by chance. He's going to go to the temple. He's going to pray the God. And what is he going to pray? God, please give me, such courage. Please give me such intelligence that I can pass the exam in which I'm going to prove that you don't exist. I'm going to prove that you don't exist. You please give me pass marks. So suddenly a lot of devotion arises in people, especially at the time when there are exams. Have you not seen this happening? Have you not seen this happening with people and friends and maybe with you? So yes, has anybody ever gone to the temple of God or temple or a mosque or whatever, right? So has anybody gone to a holy place and started praying to God and say that, my dear God, last 15 years in a row, 15 years, I have passed all my exams. I have one prayer only, just one prayer. This time you please give me a fail. Has anybody prayed like that? 15 years you have given me pass marks. Can you give me fail this time? Nobody prays. Everybody prays. Let me become a topper. Let me get a good marks. Let me pass the exam. Nobody wants to be a failure, isn't it? The fact of life, my dear friends, is, and you should note it very carefully. The fact of life is this, and it's not going to change. Whoever you are, even if you go to the temple of God, even if you don't go to the temple of God, there are going to be failures in life. So therefore, we need to learn to deal with it. That's very important. There are going to be calamities. This world is a place where there is a lot of pain. There's a lot of crisis. There's a lot of difficulties. There's a lot of unexpected things which happen. For example, this COVID virus situation, who had expected this? Did anybody prepare for this? The entire world did not ever think about that there can be a crisis like what we are facing today. Nobody was prepared for it, right? Therefore, dear friends, since you are in this age, it's a very good lesson to learn from COVID virus. People ask me, can you please share some lessons from COVID virus? I say, yeah, I can share a lot of lessons. One of the lessons you can learn from this is unexpected can be expected to happen. Unexpected can be expected to happen. This is what this world is filled with. This world is filled with a lot of failures in people's life, a lot of pain, a lot of crisis, a lot of difficulties, and whoever you are, it's going to happen. So therefore, we should be ready to face it with courage. And how? That's what we have to discuss. I want to share here something personal, because I am going to ask you to share something from your life. Before I ask you to share something from your life, I'm going to share something from my life. So many of you know, as you introduced, that I, by God's grace, was able to go to study in IIT Kharagpur. That was year 2003. You know what? You will be shocked to know what I'm going to share now. Something which very, very few people know. And you know what happened? You will be shocked. I had prepared a lot for this day of JEE 2003. It was in the May month. And those days, you did not have the options, like this FAQ type of questions. You did not have this option, MCQ type of questions. MCQ type of questions. You did not have that type of questions. You had this long subjective questions you have to solve, and there used to be 3 papers in a day, 2 hours each. So morning, it was like 8 to 10, then 11 to 1, and then 3 to 5. That was it used to be there. So I was preparing, right? And a lot of anxiety as it comes, and of course I had a good preparation. I had a very good preparation. So therefore I was kind of sure that I will get very good, grades, and I'll get good rank, etc. I was aiming at a particular college with, this branch and that branch, as everybody does, And somehow something happened, and I'm going to tell you what happened. Something happened. I reached the examination hall, which was something around 40 minutes away from my home. So I drove on my scooter. My mother was very excited. My mother and sister were very excited, and they wanted me to be a success, right? So therefore they were praying, and I went. And 8 o'clock the exam had to start. 7 o'clock, 7:15 I reached there, and somehow or other, I don't know how. It was written that the first exam was certain some exam out of maths, physics, chemistry. One of the exams was first. So, but in my mind, I don't know how, I started preparing that the first exam will be chemistry, and I entered the exam hall, and I entered it. I sat down, and at 8 o'clock, 5 minutes before that, they circulated the papers. And the paper was physics. I saw the paper physics. Physics was one of my strengths. I liked physics, right? So the physics was one of my strengths, and as the the teacher gave me the physics paper, so therefore what happened was, I did not open it. They said that you can write your name, etc. I did not do that. I wanted to be a man of honesty. I wanted to be a man of integrity. So therefore, when the paper of physics came, I said, no, I'm not going to open it. Maybe there is a mistake which the teacher has done. It's a very, very bad mistake. He should not be giving us physics paper. He should be giving us chemistry paper, because today chemistry exam happens to be first. So 5 minutes passed. At 8 o'clock, the teacher asked, why are you not opening? I said, sir, it's physics first. You have given us chemistry. So I think there is something wrong. And he was like shocked. As I said it with that confidence, I did not open the paper. I did not write anything on the paper. You have to write your your name. You have to write your roll number. So many things you have to write, isn't it? For that, the 5 minutes are given. So he was shocked. He went and immediately started discussing with his teachers and said, "This boy is telling that just physics today first, and we have circulated chemistry. What will happen?" And the in charge of that room, he became stunned. He said, "What?" He immediately ran below. He ran below. And he started inquiring, which is the paper first today? What is the first today? Is it physics? Is it chemistry? Which one is this? Which one is it? And 15 minutes passed. I'm looking left, I'm looking right, and everybody is slogging. It's 2-hour exam, and it's about, for most of you, if you gave that exam ever, you give it as if it's the day of your life, right? 15 minutes in 2 hours of exam, it's too much of time. And I was already feeling like, what is happening? What is happening? Why not nobody is coming and telling me that this is wrong? Why everybody is not being told that it's physics today first? Why chemistry chemistry today first? And why they're solving? They will have to give their papers back. I was thinking, what's happening? What's happening? And 15 minutes later, this teacher comes, touches my shoulder and says, friend, it is physics today first. Start solving. And I was like, what? 15 minutes had passed from this 2 hours. That's how much? That's like 1/8 of the time. And friends, physics is my strength. And at that time, I started opening the paper and started seeing the question. And I was not able to see. Of course, my eyes were working, but I was not able to see the paper. I was blinded almost. I started perspiring. I started feeling, my heart started beating, up and down. And I started feeling, what will happen? This is the day I had prepared for from so many years, long years. I put so much of effort. A lot is on the stake. What will happen? I was like, and then I decided that whatever has happened has happened. No worries. 5 minutes passed more. It was 20 minutes in the exam. We have only 2 hours for the exam. And what happened? Now was the time I had to decide. I have lost something so valuable. 20 minutes of this exam. I could have lost the exam itself. You see, that's the time I had the attitude which you carry inside of you has to come and work outside. Nobody can help you at that time. We all have faced situations like that. We don't have a phone number to dial and take a help. We don't have an email or WhatsApp which we can ask anybody from. So at that time, I decided I have two things. Either I just become a failure now, I just lose all my hopes. 20 minutes during this exam, I'll pass and I'm not done anything, and I'm right now in panic. Therefore, definitely I'm going to, probably I'm going to make some mistakes. I can mass all my courage and I can go ahead and try my best now, or I can just leave it. I can't do anything. I'm lost. I'm a failure. I could have done that. But I did not choose to do like that. I chose rather instead to try whatever best I can in the next 1 hour, 40 minutes remaining. While everybody around me has already got 20 minutes of advantage. Every student who wrote that day exam in 2003 May had got 20 minutes of advantage over me for the physics, which is my strength, and I could have scored very high on that. I am not going to be able to do that. No problem. I will not give up my courage. I'll try my best from now. I have 1 hour and 40 minutes, and I started seeing the exam. I started seeing the whole the question paper. I started seeing that what is it, and then I started solving. And you know what? The first question I solved, I still remember to the date, because as soon as I came out, I saw the options and I said, "Oh my God, what did I do?" There was sine 45, and what did I do? A most silly mistake a person can ever make in the JEE exam. Sine 45, I wrote it as root 2 instead of 1 by root 2. You can imagine what was happening with me, right? In sine 45, I made what? I made it as instead of 1 by root 2, I made it root 2. Just see, I was so much in panic. That was a state for some minutes, maybe for next 15 minutes. Then I was with my full gear and I started solving one question after another question after another question after another question. And first goal for the half an hour I had kept for me was at that time, the next half an hour I'm going to solve all those questions by which at least I cross this cutoff. I will cross the cutoff. I did that. After I was sure I crossed the cutoff, I started solving more tougher, difficult questions, and I was through the JEE. And I got IIT Kharagpur. You see, there are going to be such situations in everyone's life. Do you plan for it? Did I plan for it? Never. If I can go back in 2003, if I can rewind that time, do you think that I'm going to choose a situation like this? Never. But the problem, my dear friends, is failures are going to occur in everyone's life. There are different types of failures. It's not that we just fail in the exam. We might be failing due to various reasons. We can fail in a relationship. We can fail in an attempt to do something. So there are different types of failures. And another failures in my life, which I want to share at present to you, is I see it as a failure because it was shocking. When I passed out of my 10th board exam, there were two news awaiting me just within 10 days of time period. The first news I got from my school was I am the school topper. I got certain percentage of marks and I was a school topper. Right? I was in the city, some 3 or 4, third or fourth in the city, Lucknow. So that was the first board exam. I got this news. And the second news, just within 10 days of that, was my father passed away due to brain hemorrhage. These are the two things which happened. First news I got was that I am the school topper, and probably I was like third or fourth in the city. And just next 10 days, just within that, second news I get is, in front of my eyes, my father passes away. It was a failure. It was a tough situation. Most of you know 11th and 12th, what it means for you. If you get such a shocking news right then, if you go through such a life event at that time, what will happen to you? Think about it. I want you now to think about your life. I'm not going to circulate a form to you, and you are going to write down in this form any one major failure you have faced in your life. I'm going to show to everybody. You have to tell me one major failure which happened in your life. And there are various types of failures. It's not that we only fail in the exam. Okay? It's not that we only fail in exam. We can also fail because of failures. You had an expectation from somebody, did not do that. It's also failure. A certain thing happened, shocking thing happened. That's like I told that, my father passed away, etc. So these are all failure situations, shocking situations, inevitable situations. You cannot change the situations. How did you face the failure? I want to ask only these two questions to you in this form. Please kindly share with me. Do not hesitate. This is something which can teach a lot of people from your own life. Even if you are not able to face that properly, no problem, dear friend. Today's session will help you. Next 40 minutes which we have together, we're going to teach you. But before I do that, I'm going to make you think. Because I'm not like those motivational speakers who just keep speaking, and the audience keep listening. They keep, clapping, and after that, at the end of the day, when they go out of the hall, they are the same. I don't want like that. Everyone who has attended this program today, I want you to have such an experience that when you are going out of this Zoom session, after that, you are able to make your choices in different way. So therefore, it's my duty to make you think. And now, please kindly give your response. As you will give your response, I'm going to show to everybody this on the screen right now. I'm going to show you. Okay, I have got 4 responses. Are you able to see my screen? I've got 4 responses right now. Dwarkesh Shetty was the first one who has shared this response with me. I'm happy. Thank you, Dwarkesh. Your name is optional. If you want to give your name, it's fine. If you don't want to give your name, that's also fine. Okay, right there in the front of your screen, you can see this, right? You're able to see this screen. We have so many students here. So we have around 100 plus students right now in our webinar. 120. Oh, that's very good. We have 120 plus students in the, so I wish that at least 100 responses, a century I want to make right now. Please help me make a century. Everybody write your form there. You have to take just 2 minutes for that exercise. Any failure in life, whatever it is, a major failure, which was a failure for you, and you are going to tell us how did you face. Even if you could not face it properly, it's not a problem. I don't expect every one of you to be able to face failures before you came to this class, right? Before you came to this program, before you came to this webinar. I'm going to make you think, and I'm going to, at the end of this session, give you such tools and techniques by which you will be able to be much better while facing failures tomorrow. Right? So let me see. I want to make a century. Please help me make a century. Okay, every one of you, please kindly give your response. We have right now 25 responses. Okay, so please kindly give more. Dwarkesh Shetty, I'm so thankful you gave the first response to us, and he said my ambition to become a pilot failed. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. And he says that the only thing I could do was to accept it and move on. Fine. I'm going to tell you a little more. You did something good. I can tell you a little more about it today. Okay, so we have Lavanya. Thank you for sharing your response quite early with us. She says that she lost being a subject topper by half a mark. Oh my God, that's just half a mark. What happened? She studied even harder and more interest. Thank you, Lavanya. That was a great, courageous girl from you. And unnamed response. He said, I procrastinate That's my failure. So he or she procrastinates, and that's is her failure. She says she tries meditation and again lost track. He tried meditation again lost track. Okay, today something probably you're going to see in my session which can help you. Agastya says that not being able to study MBBS in India due to my low marks since 12th exam. Okay, you were not able to study MBBS because of your low marks. Very sorry for that. But what did you do later? You said that you chose an alternative, and I studied MBBS abroad. Okay, that's great. So you chose to study MBBS abroad. That's nice. So you made the situation different for you. Thank you. Aditya says, father's behavior, understanding my mother's schizophrenia illness. Oh, yeah, I understand. Sometimes people are not able to understand others. Try to understand the symptoms of illness in later part of my life. Okay. Okay. You will try to, or probably you tried to. Fine. Ankit is saying prepared for government exams but not got government job. And he's saying gone for higher studies, then now trying for a private job. Okay. Thank you. God bless you. And Ankit, hopefully you may get better job. Janu says, I met with an accident on the JEE Mains exam. Oh my God. You see, life is filled with inevitable events. No one plans for it, but just see what can happen. Yes, dear friends, this is what life is all about. Reality is in front of you. If someone tells you that I have never failed in my life, I am going to tell you that man or woman is a cheater number one. If they say to you, attend my session and you are never going to be a failure, they are cheater number one. It's not possible. They are going to be failures in life. We need to learn to face. We need to be prepared how to face those challenges. And what did Janu do? Janu said, I tried my level best and I got 93.46 percentile. Let's have a clap for Janu. Great. That was great to hear from you. Wonderful. And Vaishnavi says that got conference out from Indian Air Force officer selection. Okay, on the last day after passing. And he says that, Vaishnavi says, I wanted to join UN by working in Indian Defense, then I continued applying. Okay. And joined the World Bank. That's great of you, Vaishnavi. I'm so happy to hear. Yes. See, I'm going to tell just some time. I'm seeing that many of you are already knowing certain lessons of life, and probably as you attend today's program, you're going to get even better view of life. I'm so happy to see. Raj is saying messed up GRE exam preparation. Oh my God. And then he said, did not want to think about it. Yes, you go ahead in life and you can do something better. So how many responses I have got? I have got, see in front of you, we have 54 responses. Anyone else would like to tell? We have 120 plus students right now with us. If you please make me have a century, I will be so happy. You are attending program, I'm happy. Dear friends, if you think also and fill this form, it may even better help you. Because it will be able to help you to frame your response to your life situations much better. So I'm going to read out one or two more. And so he's saying, Sayali Motevar, she's saying that she did not get admission in pharmacy college that due to financial condition. Oh, really? So then what did it do? She did hard work and probably she got in another college, and she tried to do further better and better. I want to tell you this something. Okay, that's great. I'll tell you something, Sayali. I'll at the end of this exercise, I'm going to tell something to you, Sayali. Thank you for sharing. Also, we have Manoj Verma, who says that even though I am capable, I could not find the best out of myself in the JEE Mains exam. Yeah, probably on that day you could not do so much. What did he do? In 12th class and inter-studies, he probably excelled and did better. Thank you. That's great. You see, I'm so happy to see all of you. Now I have got more than 56 responses. That's nice. Okay, let's go ahead. Sayali, I want to tell you, and I want to tell all of my audience here who are there with me, please try to understand. Getting back to the presentation, please try to understand. Something which all of us have to learn, just like Sayali did something. In our life, we have expectations, we have hopes, we have dreams, we have desires. All of them are going to be fulfilled? Think about it. Are all of them going to be fulfilled? Not everything is going to be fulfilled. So therefore, the rule number one for your life, if you have to face failures, write it down if you want to. Please understand, you have to be flexible in life. The rule number one is you have to be flexible in life. If you are not flexible, if you are rigid, then you can never face failures in life. Many of you who wrote this answers, you can see right in the Excel sheet I showed you all. So you can see that certain thing happened in their life. It was a block which came. They had decided a certain dream or desire for them. What did they do? They changed their route. You can learn the lesson from Mother Ganges. Mother Ganges keeps flowing towards the ocean no matter what happens in life on the route. Even if a huge boulder comes in front, what does Mother Ganges do? She stops looking at the challenge? No. What does she do? She changes her course a little bit and again goes ahead. This is how all of us have to do in life. There will be challenges, there will be failures, but our small dreams will not get fulfilled. No need to become a failure. You failed in a small attempt, no problem. Change a little bit of your course, be flexible, go ahead in life. Don't sit down and keep thinking, why did it happen? Why did it happen? Why did it happen? It will happen. There is no one in the world whose every desire is fulfilled. Dear friends, please understand this. If you fail, please hear this very attentively. If you are there with me on the screen, please read this very attentively for you. Just because you failed in an attempt, you are not a failure. Please understand this. You are young, and as you will grow in your life, you will get this experience yourself. I want to tell you, Sayali, I told you I will tell something. I want to tell all my audience. When I was working in Adobe, I was from IIT Kharagpur, so I got selected because IITs are selected into big companies. Adobe. You know who was my manager? Who was my senior manager? My manager was someone else. My senior manager. My senior manager was, so I was working in Bangalore, right? This Mr. Shyam, his name was Mr. Shyam. He was probably around 15 years older to me. So senior manager in this company, Adobe, who probably was earning 3 times of my salary. I being from IIT, he was probably earning 3 times of my salary. You know from where he passed out? He passed out from a very average local college of Bangalore. And he was senior manager of Adobe. Think about it. Think about it. Just because you failed in something, due to certain life situation, it was inevitable. You cannot do anything about it. It's like somebody got accident, they could not do anything about it. Somebody could not get selected due to less marks, could not do anything about it. Somebody had financial situation was not good, they could not do anything about it. Somebody's father got a problem, somebody's mother got a problem, they could not do anything about it. No worries. Change your course, be flexible, change your course, go ahead. Go ahead towards success. Go ahead towards success. You are not a failure. You can again succeed. Go ahead. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in life. This is very, very critical. Rule number 1 of life is be flexible. Your end goal can be fixed. Your route should be flexible. Your end goal can be fixed. Your route should be flexible. The end goal of everyone's life is we want to be happy. We want to be successful. We want to do something meaningful in life, right? Isn't it? We want to do something meaningful in life, right? Life is not so short. Just because of one event you failed and you say, I am a failure. No. Your life is much more precious than that one day exam which you wrote. Your life is much more precious than that one college which you missed. Your life is much more precious than that particular degree you could have got. Right? Life is much more precious. So therefore, don't get stuck. Go ahead. This is the rule number 1. Be flexible. You are never a failure. Only time you become a failure, I'm going to tell you when. There's only one time you become a failure, and I'm going to tell you when. So if this lesson was learned by our Mr. Elephant, rather baby elephant, I should say, baby elephant who was there in the beginning of our program, if he had to learn this lesson, what he would be doing? He will say, I am not a failure. So therefore, I failed in my attempt to break the rope when I was of a particular age. No problem. I move ahead and develop more strength. And later, I again attempt. I move ahead, I get more strength and again do that, right? So therefore, you are never a failure. Here is the Thomas Edison who says, before he made his famous bulb, which all of us have in our, in our houses, and recently, of course, LED bulbs have come. Before that, we had this Thomas Alva Edison's bulb, So therefore, he says, I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. See, this is the way we can look at the life situation and we will surely be able to go ahead. Right? So what is your worldview? So I'm also wanting to say, one time There was one interview, a job interview, which was happening. A small story for you all. One time a job interview was happening, and a lot of people were in the queue. As it happens, one job, there are hundreds of people applying. So therefore, the interviewer became, oh my God, so many people I have to interview. So many people, I don't want to interview so many people. So the interviewer came out and he started shouting, we want a responsible person for this position. Came out and said, we want a responsible person for this position, and therefore he wanted probably many of the people will go away. So therefore one person he stood up and said, sir, if you want a responsible person for this position, then you have to select me. And everybody is looking at him. Why? 99 people looking at that person. Why is it that they should select me? He said, because in the previous company, in the previous company where I was working, there were so many problems which came. And everybody of the company told me that I am responsible. So therefore, because I am so responsible, so therefore you should take me in the position. So, of course, I am not talking about that you continue making the same mistakes. I am not talking about that. What I am talking about is, even if you make a mistake, it's all right if you learn your lessons. So therefore, your worldview. Here is something now, very critical information which I'm going to teach you. Dear friends, please see this. It's on your screen. How do you look at the world? So we have 15 to 20 minutes remaining with us, dear friends. And here is something which can change. I told you, a life-changing transformation which can happen to you is now. How to look at the world, how to look at the world's events, how to look at the situation which we are facing. Let's see. There are two ways you can look. There are two ways. I told you there is one of the two ways you are already adopting at this point of time. My seminar, my webinar is supposed to help you to probably change your way, right? Or strengthen the way which you already know in little fashion. Let's see. The first one, which most people adopt, please look at it. It's called as hotel worldview. Interesting. It's you can look at the image. You have this plate and this man is trying to eat up the world. This is called as hotel worldview. What do you mean by hotel worldview? This is in front of your screen. Please look at it. Hotel worldview means this world should follow whose rules? My rules. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What's that? This world should follow my rules? Is it ever going to happen? And it should function according to my expectations. Oh my God. Is it really going to happen? Think about it. Is it really going to happen? It will ever happen to anybody? This world is going to function according to your expectations? But still I find it's never going to happen, right? Still I find a lot of people who are having this hotel world. They think that everything should happen according to their desires. Everything should go according to my plan. Everything should happen according to what I expect. Everybody in this world should fulfill my expectations. Is it really going to happen? Dear friends, think about it. If we are going to be in this worldview, we will definitely be frustrated. Imagine you go to a hotel. And the waiter comes to you, as a standard thing is, waiter comes to you, gives you a menu and says, 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z. This is what I want. Please give. And the waiter goes. After 10 minutes, the waiter comes. And the order which you had given, that order is not brought. Something else is brought. How will you feel? You give your order to the waiter. After 10 minutes of waiting, the waiter comes and serves you. Does not serve any one of the things which you had wanted. What will happen to you? What will you think? You will say, what? You will shout at the waiter, why did you bring something which I did not want? I wanted this and this. Suppose you want, suppose if you're from South, you will say, I want idli, dosa, sambar. If you're from North, you will say, I want aloo paratha, gobi sabji, and achar or something like that. Something like that. If you're from East India, you will ask something. West India, you will ask something. So whatever your favorite menu, you will ask, right? But then if you bring something else, you will be feeling so unhappy and you will start shouting at that person. Hey, what do you think about yourself? I am the here master. You go and serve me properly. This is what is called as hotel worldview. When we think that the world should follow my rules, we think that the world should behave according to my expectation. That is a hotel worldview. Dear friend, this world is not a hotel. That's the problem. This is the reality of life. This world is not an hotel. Now tell me on your chat box, I want to see this from you. Have you seen one of your friends, one of your acquaintance, one of the people in your college, one of the people in your neighborhood, one of the people probably whom you know who has been in this kind of hotel worldview, and because of which the person many times feels frustrated in life? Have you seen this? Kindly honestly tell me on your chat box. Please, please, please. Kindly write it down. If you have seen, you can say yes. If you have seen, you can say yes. You have seen this happening? Please, I want to see on your chat box. Please write on your chat box. Yes, if you have seen somebody like that everywhere. Yeah, somebody is telling everywhere. Sampath is saying yes, I have seen it many times. Thank you. Jagdish is saying yes, many people too. Ms. Vedant Joshi is saying yes. Okay, so I seen every time. Pratik Sahu is saying okay. Anshu is saying privately to me yes. Okay. Lavanya Shende yes. You have seen so many. Thank you. That means we are in this world. A lot of people around you are having this hotel worldview. We should avoid getting this hotel world. Please remember, this world is not an hotel. It's not going to fulfill your rules. It's not going to fulfill your expectations. Then what do we need to do? We need to change our vision. So what is the worldview which you are going to have? This is what I'm going to tell next time. In the next slide, I'm going to tell you. But before that, today is World Yoga Day. I want to tell you a small story. Today is World Yoga Day. India is known for yoga. So therefore, there was this person who was in the West, and one Swamiji went from India to the West, and he was teaching some yoga, asanas, etc., meditation, things like that. So this Westerner came to this saint and said, Swamiji, you people from India, you are coming to our, Europe, you are coming to London, you are coming to this Western country, and you are doing what? You are telling people to become Hindu. Why are you making people Hindu? And Swamiji said, What? I am not making anybody Hindu. He said, yeah, you are teaching this yoga. This yoga is coming from India. So therefore, it is Hindu. You're teaching Hindu. Swamiji said, no, I am going to teach you yoga. I am not teaching you some religion, Hindu. He said, okay. Swamiji said, okay, I want to ask you a question. Who discovered the law of gravity? So he said, yeah, of course, Newton discovered. No, you don't know. Newton discovered the law of gravity. Okay, Newton discovered the law of gravity. That's fine. So Newton was from where? Newton was from Europe. All right, Newton was from Europe. So therefore, when you are teaching people the law of gravity, you are making people Christians. Yeah. What are you speaking? The European man said, what are you speaking? We are not making anybody Christian. No. Because Newton was from Europe and Newton was from West and he was following Christianity. So because you're teaching the law which is discovered by this European, so therefore, you're teaching people Christianity. He said, no, of course we are not teaching people any Christianity. We're teaching people law of the world, law of universe, which is law of gravity. He said, my dear friend, exactly in the same way, when I teach you yoga, I am not teaching you Hinduism. I am not teaching you religion. I am teaching you the universal principles. If you follow them, you are going to be benefited. So many a times, this wrong thought process are there in many people's mind. Whenever we teach somebody yoga, whenever we teach somebody meditation, whenever we teach somebody from the Gita, we are teaching them some religion, etc. No, of course not. We are teaching them the universal principles, which if adopted in one's life, are going to be benefited. So, dear friends, I'm going to take you to next worldview, which is worldview of universities, school. The wrong worldview is hotel worldview. The right worldview is school worldview. Okay, this world is not an hotel which will follow your rules, it will follow your expectations. What is it then? It's like a school. Please remember, if you're taking notes, there is something to note down. This is something which you're going to think. This is something which will help you. Some of you have already started learning life lessons, and I'm so happy about it. I was so happy to see the Excel sheet. Some of you are already understanding that this world is not going to be a place which is going to follow my rules. Instead, what you must be doing, please read it. It's there on your screen. What you should be doing? I need to learn and follow the rules with which the universe runs and align myself with the universal principles. This is called as the school worldview, right? On the yoga day, we are going to teach you something. Okay, so I think Don't use your chat box if you're not good. So I'm going to teach you on this World Yoga Day a very important universal principle, right? And what is it? Treat this world as a school. Don't treat this as your hotel. The hotel, if you give a list, a menu, from the menu you choose a list and you say, give me this, serve me this, it doesn't come, you become frustrated. But in a school, when you go to the school, the question paper comes and an unexpected question comes. You scold the teacher and say, hey, teacher, what kind of question paper you have given? I'm not able to solve it. I'm not able to solve it. It's too difficult. You tell like that to the teacher? All right. When the waiter doesn't fulfill your order, you feel frustrated, you shout. But when the teacher gives you a problem which is difficult to solve in the exam, you don't shout on the teacher, right? Other, what do? You say, in case if I'm not able to solve it now, I will learn it from the teacher. I will learn it from some student. I will learn it after the exam. And then later on, I will be able to solve this question. Isn't it? Isn't it? That's the way you behave, right? In a school, you are in a learning mood. You're not in fighting mood. You're not in frustrated mood. You're not in that a mood that why this is happening to me? Why this is happening to me? You are in a mode of okay. Even if there is difficulty, even if there is difficult question which I'm not able to solve today, I can solve tomorrow. This is the school worldview, my dear friends, which I want all of you to adopt. Please, if you understand this fact of life, this will take you way ahead of a lot of people who are just like common people who make the same mistakes every single day. They think this world is like a hotel, whereas this world is like a school. I need to learn. I can't make the rules. I need to learn those rules. I need to follow those rules. And I need to align myself with the universal principles. And one of the universal principles is coming next. I'm going to teach you now one of the most wonderful universal principles. 3 plus 1, 4 responses, right? I'm going to teach you now first response, which most of the people give, which is so wrong. This is one of my famous quotes. This in front of you says, the classroom of life, sometimes failure teaches greater lessons than success. Please note it down. It's a very critical thing. Like if life, the school of life, the school of this world gives you failures, you know what you are going to be learning? Going to be learning a greater lesson than success. Success doesn't teach as much lessons as the failures do. You can see it happening in everyone's life. For example, if a cricket team wins over the World Cup match and one of the teams which was playing in the finals was not able to win, which team do you think is going to work harder and learn more lessons after the cricket match is over? Do you think? Suppose A is there and B is there. If A wins and B loses the World Cup, which one of the teams are going to learn more lessons from their performance and become better next time? What do you think? It's going to be the team which has failed. Why? Because failure teaches greater lessons than success. Every time you see a failure, every time you see a situation which you cannot overcome, every time you see some things which are so difficult, you should know you are a fortunate person. You can learn a life lesson there. It's sometimes it's difficult. You need people, you need some person to be there with you, you need some guide in your life, you need someone who can help you at that time learn the life lesson. But even if nobody is there, have this faith that surely there is some great lesson to learn. When you come and meet me next time, I'm going to teach you more on this part also. This for today, you can learn this quote, which is very important. The classroom of life, knowing that worldview we have is worldview of a school. Sometimes failure teaches greater lessons than success. The true failure in life is when you fail and you don't learn your lesson. That's the actual failure. And therefore, here we come to the last part of today's session where I'm going to discuss in the next less than 5 minutes about this response number 1. There are 4 responses people give generally. First response I'm discussing today. 3 other responses are going to come in the next session. As I told you, this is part 1 and part 2. Part 1 was very important where we have built up the principles. We have seen the 2 worldviews. We have seen everyone's life there are failures. We have seen the realities of life. Now the response number 1, which is very common. The first response which most people give, you can see this picture on this screen, is called as design and denial response. Dear friends, stay on for next 5 minutes more. We are going to see how people make this mistake, and this is not the response you should give. There are 3 plus 1 responses. 3 responses are average responses. The first one of them is a wrong response, a bad response, something which you should not do. When failures come, do not decline or deny. I'm going to tell you a story. So therefore, there was this ostrich. An ostrich was being chased by a lion. A lion. Lion was chasing the ostrich. The ostrich was running. The ostrich has thin legs. See the ostrich? Ostrich has thin legs. She was running. How fast can the ostrich run? The lion was leaping, and chasing. And when she saw the ostrich saw behind, he said, "Oh my God! The lion has come very near to me. So therefore, I'm supposed to hide." What did the ostrich do? Ostrich uses his beak and started digging the earth, just besides there, and started digging, and made a hole and puts her slender neck inside the ground. She puts her slender neck inside the ground and says, "Oh, I'm safe. There's no more lion which is chasing me. There's no more lion which is chasing me." Is this the way we deal with life situations? If the lion is actually chasing you, can you deny? Can you decline? Can you? No, right? You have to do something about it. Similarly, the ostrich or the people who give this kind of a response, which is very common, what do? They ignore that they don't accept that there are failures. They don't accept the realities of life. They don't say that, yes, it is happening. They say, no, let me hide my face. Let me hide myself. As these people are trying to do on the screen, you can see. Of course, they are not ostrich, they are human beings. If ostriches do this kind of response, that's fine. But if the human beings start giving this kind of a response, it's not good. It's not correct response, right? It's not the right type of response. So therefore, this type of response is due to mode of ignorance, or in Sanskrit, it is called as tamoguna. Dear friends, this is the last lesson for the day. Please hold on with me. I have a feedback form to give you to all, and there are a few announcements which are there. And just after that, we'll have some questions for you. Right? We have time till 7:15, and I want to give you 10 full minutes for questions. Okay? So mode of ignorance. This concept which I am now going to teach you is a very famous concept which is there in the Vedas. It is one of the things which Bhagavad Gita is very much talking about, these three modes of material nature. So there is Tamoguna, the first mode. This is the first type of response you can see. I can tell you this is very scientific. I can tell you this is very amazing concept. Please try to understand this. This is something which can help you change over your responses. So the mode of ignorance of Tamoguna, as you see in the screen, is due to ahankar or frustrated false ego. Ahankar, the Sanskrit word I am sure many of you are aware of. Ahankar, you have seen people due to ego, frustrated ego, they are angry, they shout, or they become depressed, or they become full of failures. And sometimes in ahankar, due to false ego, people even commit suicide. All those people, those who are doing suicide, etc., it's because of tamoguna, mode of ignorance. They have, such people have alasya, laziness, ajnana, ignorance, and tamada, illusion. These are the three I's, which has MOI, or mode of ignorance. Mode of ignorance has three I's due to the ahankar. What is that? So they have this laziness, ignorance, and illusion. Right? This in mode of ignorance, you have laziness, you have ignorance, you have illusion, and you have the frustrated false ego. Right? I is so much because of which they have ego. Ego is also called one of the I-ness. Therefore, that I, and there is ignorance I, and there is illusion I. Three I's are there in mode of ignorance. Okay, so this is the situation of a person which many people are at today. Because of the coronavirus, I'm seeing that a lot of people are getting into this kind of a mode when they become really lazy. They don't want to do anything much hard work, and they feel like, okay, anyways, let's sleep for a longer time. Or ignorance, they're not having the right knowledge to decide in situations. Or they're in certain illusionary things. It's like having a wrong worldview is like having illusion. If somebody's in the hotel worldview, you call him or her as a person who is in illusion. Friends, one thing I want to tell you here, it is not that the mode which you are in, Tamoguna or whatever mode I'm going to show you further, it's not a fixed mode of life. You can change this mode. What I'm talking about, responses of people in different modes, but you can change, which means even if you are in one mode today, you can change and come in another mode tomorrow. You can become better tomorrow. That's the reason we are attending this webinar, right? But this is one response which is very common, and I'm giving you an example of Duryodhana. Mahabharata shows him as a classic person who acts in mode of ignorance. He was very talented. He was absolutely very talented, very amazing in his talent. He knew how to fight with the mace, that mace. He knew it very well. Similarly, he also had a lot of intelligence of strategizing, etc. He was very shrewd on that. That's fine. The problem is his response to failures or situations, inevitable situations in life was always filled with mode of ignorance. Many a times Vidura went and told to Duryodhana. Many times his father Dhritarashtra went and told to Duryodhana, my dear boy, you are doing something wrong. When Bhima was a small child, when Duryodhana was a small child, they was in teenage, maybe something around 11 or 12 years of age, in teenage. Bhima was fighting so chivalrously and he was winning, the many times, right? He was showing some good valor. Every time this person, Duryodhana, used to feel so envious. This is how people in mode of ignorance behave. Always constantly keep comparing with others, always keep wanting to bring the legs of others down. They always want to plot something against others. That's what they are. That's why they're in mode of ignorance. Jnana, Ahankara, and they have avidya. Right? They have all of that. Alasya, they are in illusion, Vada. This man, this Duryodhana, when Bhima was just a small boy teenager, and he did not do anything bad to Duryodhana, nothing wrong he had done to Duryodhana. He gave him a laddu and he mixed a heavy poison, hundreds of elephants. That much heavy poison he had put into the laddu and said, take this sweet ball and you eat this and it will be very good. And Bhima, he was innocent. He trusted Duryodhana, so therefore he just ate up. And what did he happen? Immediately he fainted. He did not die, but he immediately fainted. And then what did he do? Duryodhana, it was not enough. So what did he do? In the nearby lake, the nearby river, what did he do? He takes Bhima along with his brothers and ties a boulder, huge stone around his neck and throws him inside the river. Oh my God! What kind of a person is this? Right when he was just of 11 or 12 years old. This kind of person, he's trying to kill his own brother. That brother who has done nothing wrong to his own family, nothing wrong to him. He wanted to kill him so badly. First, he gives him poison, and second, if that was not enough, he ties a boulder, a stone around his neck, and throws him inside the river. Fortunately, Bhima actually was saved due to some other, reason. That's a long story. Therefore, many a times, even Karna, once what happened, Duryodhana started plotting, okay, these Pandavas are not able to be killed. I'm trying to kill in so many ways. They are not getting killed. So what did he do? He plotted another strategy. He said, okay, what I will do, there is a nearby, I have a palace and that is called as Lakshagraha. And that is a place where we go and we relax for some time. What I will do, I'll tell to Yudhishthira and all the Pandavas that you go and relax in that house. And before they go over there, I'm going to do something. What I'm going to do, in that Lakshagraha, I'm going to put lac, that material which can, flammable material which can quickly get burned. I'm going to put that inside the walls, etc., everywhere. And when they will be sleeping, I'm going to burn the whole palace. Oh my God. At that time, even Karna, who was friend of Duryodhana, Karna told to Duryodhana, hey, why are you doing like this? Why do you do this kind of stupid activities? Why do you want to kill these innocent people in the fire? Well, if you want to fight with them, call them for a match, call them for a fair match, Let's have a fight, and if we are able to defeat, that's fine. When Karna told this to Duryodhana, but what happened? He did not listen. This is the people who are in mode of ignorance. They don't listen to the good advices of people, simply ignore all of that and always keep giving a wrong response to life situations. So that's why, my dear friends, this person later on, I'm going to take fast forward because I want to end my class now. So this person, Duryodhana, later on, he called the Pandavas for a gambling match. Yudhishthira kept on telling, I don't want to come, please, don't force me. But then he said, no, you have to follow because it's the order of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is like your father and he's calling you for a gambling match. Therefore, you must come. Against the wish of Yudhishthira, Yudhishthira was called, and there was gambling. And of course, he cheated Yudhishthira, all the Pandavas. He took away all his kingdom and then he threw them, inside the jungle. When they were in the jungle, when they were in the forest, at that time, Duryodhana and all the Kauravas, they went, show the sea, you people are suffering, you have nothing, but we are having so much palace luxuries, and they camped nearby. Just to show them, see, we are enjoying and you are not enjoying. Just see what kind of a person this was. And at that time, there were the divine people who had come over there, and they started fighting with Duryodhana, and Duryodhana was made a slave by them. They started binding with ropes Duryodhana and all the Kauravas, and they started dragging them. It's people who were the Devatas, they started dragging them. Yudhishthira got the news, and Yudhishthira told to Bhima and Arjuna, go and save Duryodhana. He's our brother. Bhima and Arjuna says, What? Dear brother, he has done so much harm to us, so much wrong to us. Why are you asking us to go and fight for him? I said, no. For outsiders, within us there can be fight, and therefore they are 100 and we are 5. That is fine. For the outsiders, we should remain as 105. We should not show disunity. Maybe disunity amongst us, they are 5 and they are 100. For the outsiders, we are 105, we are brothers. So go and protect. Bhima goes, Arjuna goes, fights with those Gandharvas who had come, and they defeat them and brings Duryodhan in front of Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira said, my dear brother, I hope that you are safe. You can go and enjoy your kingdom. And Duryodhan was burning with anger. Even this incident did not change him. Can you imagine? After seeing the goodness of Yudhishthira also, he did not change. Rather, what response he gave? He went and he again denied the whole situation. Denial. These people, they do not accept their mistakes. No matter how many, whichever way you tell them in the good way, you tell them in the harsh way, you tell them in any way, they're not going to be accepting their mistakes. That was Duryodhana. He did not accept his mistakes. Still, he did not call Yudhishthira and Pandavas back to the kingdom. Rather, he went and sat in the forest and said, how come I was saved by my enemies? My enemies have saved my life. What is the use of my life? I'm going to commit suicide. That's what he was trying to do. After he was saved by the Arjuna and Bhima, he went inside again the forest and he sat down. In some sort of a samadhi, and said that I am not going to eat anything. I am not going to drink anything. I am going to die. Why? Because I was saved by my enemies. This kind of person he was. These people are, of course, Duryodhana is heavy mode of ignorance. Today you won't find anybody like Duryodhana. Today you won't find anybody like Duryodhana. But that's what mode of ignorance is. You find people like this in front of you. I'm showing you another image. Let's end with this. It says, student denying bad grades in a subject. Have you not seen people, even if they get wrong, bad marks, etc., start saying no, so what? You're not going to listen to this. I had a friend who was poor at mathematics, etc. Even though we used to tell him that you probably don't have to go for engineering, see, you are not getting good grades, etc. in maths, maybe you can choose commerce, maybe you can choose this. He always denied the situation. He always said, no, actually the teacher is not good, actually subject is not good, actually this is not good, that is not good. They don't accept the responsibility. They don't accept their mistakes. And that is mode of ignorance, people who deny and who decline and therefore give a wrong response and become depressed and frustrated. It's like, sometimes the students start denying the reality. If you are not so good looking, you can accept it and you can go ahead in your life. If you're not so intelligent in particular subject, you can go ahead in life. You can do something else better. If you are not very good at a particular trade, you can take another trade and you can be better, right? If you have a certain difficulty in situation, do not deny the situation. Accept the situation. As quickly you accept the situation, that quickly you can solve it. I'm going to give you next time 3 other responses. This response is a wrong response because of mode of ignorance, and therefore you have to avoid being in mode of ignorance. According to Gita, there are 3 modes. Please note it down for the day. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Sattva is called as mode of goodness. Raja is called as mode of passion. Tamo is called as mode of ignorance. I'm going to teach you more about goodness and passion in the next session. And the bonus way is going to come in the next session. Today I have talked with you about no good response, which you must have seen very common in people. Please type on your chat box. This is the last response for the day. Please type on your chat box and say to me if you have seen people who give this kind of response of denial in mode of ignorance. You can type yes. You can type yes in the chat box, please. Everybody type on your chat box so that I can see the response from your side. Please type on your chat box. Yeah. Okay, I've started getting you. You have seen this. Yeah. Okay, you have seen. Yes. So many people. So many people have this kind of, so many people. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So many people have this kind of response. Yes, I agree. You have seen this. And I don't want you to give this kind of response in your life, right? You need to learn to change. So therefore, I'm going to discuss next time about Sattva Guna and Rajaguna, and also the bonus way, which is very amazing. If you learn that, it will be very wonderful. That's not for the day. This week, I'm going to end with this engagement. Please see this, your engagement. We are going to send you, whoever is going to fill the feedback form for me, which I'm going to show you now. The feedback form, anybody who fills the feedback form is going to be sent the characteristics of a student in mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. Okay, I have not shown all the characteristics, but you are going to get that characteristics in your chat box in your WhatsApp group or in your email. If you are a part of our WhatsApp group, you get there. If you are not, then you will get through email. Anybody who fills the feedback form, please, you should fill the feedback form, which is just optional. It's not anything much to write. You just have to click. Okay. So to do, if you get this, you have a homework to do. Because I told you, I am not like those people, those who just go away, but just by teaching a little bit. I want to see that your life is becoming better, right? So therefore, you have to identify which mode you tend to be in. And believe me, friends, you can change your mode, right? It's not that it's permanent. And you can think about the response of people in the mode of passion and mode of goodness towards failure. This is what I want you to think. The mode of ignorance people, what do? They deny. They don't accept, right? They deny. So denial is what they do. What do the mode of passion people do? Think about it. You have to think and you have to respond to us. And what do the mode of goodness people do towards failures? You have to think about it and give us. I'm going to tell you next week. Send your answer to this email ID which is there in front of you. Please write down this email ID. It's not going to remain displayed for long. Amalamdas, my name, .connect @gmail.com. Easy to remember. My name .connect @gmail.com. amalamdas.connect@gmail.com. Please write your mail to us and we are going to respond to you. First 3 correct responses will be recognized in some special way. And all correct responses will be displayed next time when you come to the session. I'm so happy to be with you this evening. I hope that you could learn something wonderful. And now is the time for some questions. And before we start the questions and answers, I'm going to give you the link where you can start filling up the feedback. Please don't go without filling the feedback, which is just a very short. It will take you just half a minute or maybe maximum a minute. Okay, so please see this, your chat box. Please see your chat box. Yeah, here is the form for everybody. Please see this chat box. The chat box, if you click now in this form, you will open a link, which will be again a Google form, and just tick marks. You can just click for that, and if you click that, you will be getting this characteristics of a student in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So today, what did we learn? Let me revise. I told about the inevitable situations. I told you about the story of an elephant. Let's not become like that elephant, the baby elephant who had a wrong view, who felt that I am a failure because I failed in some attempt. No. Inevitability of life is everyone faces failures. I told some of the stories from my life. You shared some of the stories from your life. You saw that so many of the friends of yours, so many responses we got of different types of failures. So failures are going to come. But I told you, rule number 1 of life is be flexible. And when the problems come, when challenges come, your end goal is happiness, your end goal is success. So don't change that, but you can change the route you are taking. If suppose because of less marks you can't go to MBBS or some engineering college, you go to another, and you can still become a successful person. Don't feel that I am a failure. You are never a failure. I talked about that the failures can teach better lessons than the successes most of the time. I talked about the hotel worldview and versus the school worldview. Hotel worldview is not something that you should adopt, although many people have that. But as a school worldview is something which we adopt. And that's why you are with me today. You are learning because this universe is like a school. You need to learn the universal principles, right? Therefore, you are learning. We discussed about 3 modes, which are from the Bhagavad Gita or the Vedic scriptures. The first mode I showed you was mode of ignorance or Nogana. I gave you 3 stories of the life of Duryodhana, how he was never changing, never accepting mistakes, always denying situations. And this happens unfortunately with many people in this world. So therefore, that's not the right response. That response number 1 to failures is not accepting, denying, and because of that, people become totally a failure in their life. A lot of people who do this suicide, etc., which you see many times happening, even one of the famous actors also did that. They're the people who do not accept the situations which are coming in life. They start thinking that everything should happen according to my way, which is not going to happen, right? Learn to face the realities of life. So we need to change to either mode of passion or goodness or another way, which I'm going to tell you next time. Now, the first question Tanvi has asked. I'll answer it very brief, Tanvi, because the time is going up. So I'm going to answer you very briefly. If you want to read further on this, you can interact with us, you can interact with me. And also you have my time management book in which chapter number 3 is entire 3rd chapter I have dedicated for dealing with procrastination. So I'm going to entire 50 pages of what I have written in the 3rd chapter, I'm going to compress in 3 minutes, okay, for you. So see, last time also one of the sessions I spoke on this. Procrastination. Okay, what do you mean by procrastination? Procrastination means that we are not doing that which is important, and we are simply doing that which is urgent. We are not doing that which is important for us, and we are simply doing that which is urgent. Or sometimes you are not doing anything. You're just lazy and delaying. Two types of people get into procrastination. One, those who are just lazy, those who don't want to do anything. Or second, those who want to do, but because they fear that, oh, that is so important, but it's very difficult for me. So therefore they start doing the urgent things. They become busy in the urgent things, so that they feel that they are not doing anything. For example, I'll give an example. For example, if you have an exam which is very difficult, in which you have to study, say, physics, because for most of the people, physics is very difficult. So, say physics, you have to study some big difficult exam, this, that. It's day after tomorrow, but you're not studying about physics, you're studying English. Say Tanvi is studying English, then Tanvi may be good at English. Huh? So therefore Tanvi starts studying English. I like English, so I study English. She is not wasting her time. Okay? She is definitely not wasting her time. She is studying English. But what she is supposed to do? Is supposed to give time for physics. Why is she not studying? Say Tanvi. Suppose for Tanvi physics is difficult. Let's assume it. So if for Tanvi's physics is difficult, why is she not studying physics? Why is she studying English? Because she is having a difficulty or discomfort to approach that difficult whatever questions which she has to solve. She has a disliking towards that. Therefore, she is trying to avoid that difficulty. This is called as procrastination. How to deal with it? If you just have knowledge of why you are procrastinating, you will observe when you are doing it, and what will happen? What will happen is you will avoid procrastination. Just the knowledge of how procrastination happens helps you avoid procrastination, isn't it? Since I explained to you so easily with the help of example, next time when you are doing it, you will observe it. Isn't it? If you can observe yourself procrastinating, you obviously will try not to do that. That's the first thing. You must know why procrastination happens. I told you the reason of procrastination is you're facing a challenge, you're facing a difficulty, you're feeling discomfort about it, and you don't want to get into that difficulty. But dear friends, second reality you should know. The more you delay dealing with that difficulty for an exam or situation, it's going to become even more difficult. Suppose Tanvi has day after tomorrow an exam of physics, and day evening she is only studying English. What will happen? The more she delays, the more challenging it will become. If she delays for tomorrow morning, now she has only one more day. If she delays to tomorrow afternoon, she has only half of the day. If she delays to the evening, she has only one night. This is how the pressure builds up. So what happens? If you procrastinate, are you going to be in a better situation? No. So therefore, what should you do? Not procrastinate. What you should do? Accept. I know it is difficult for me to solve physics problems. Still, if I have an exam, I have to do it. If I could help all of you, I want to design an education system in which none of you are supposed to study subjects which you don't like. If I was supposed to design your education system, I will do that, dear friends. And maybe if some of you help me when you are growing up more, please help us in the Arjuna group. We would like to bring about this kind of transformation in our education where students are not forced to study subjects of their disliking. What can I do right now? At present, I cannot change your education syllabus, etc. That is not what I can do today. But maybe in few years, in a decade, I can try to do something about that. Right? So this is how. I know some people have designed certain education system, but it's not. Right now, we are not going to be able to implement it immediately for you. So therefore, what you can do at present, what you can do is, if you are in such a situation, do not necessarily delay to face that challenge. Accept it. I don't like physics. I need to get whatever good marks I can for my physics exam. That's the way you deal with it. Why? Because you have another purpose. You don't like to study physics, no problem. It's okay for you. I don't say you should love physics. If you don't love physics, I don't say that you should love it. Who should you love? You should have some other purpose. You can love your mother, you can love your father. You can think about, hey, they are working hard for my fees. So therefore, as I don't love physics, I love my mother, I love my father. For them, I'm going to do this. I don't love physics, but if I get good grades in this, I can get something better tomorrow. I don't love physics, if I show a wrong example of unnecessarily getting bad marks, then my juniors are going to take that as a wrong example, right? Therefore, I want to show a good example to the world. I want to love my parents. Like you see, for example, for me, I never loved chemistry. I just did not like chemistry at all. How did I cross the JEE? Because I loved something else. I did not love chemistry. I loved something else. You know what I loved? I wanted to go to IIT because I wanted to do something for this world. That's the reason I was preparing for IIT. So I had that desire. I loved something else. I had a strong purpose, a strong desire that I want to, do something for this world, and IIT can help me in doing that. So if I have to swallow this bitter pill of studying chemistry, I will do it. That's the way you overcome procrastination. I'm giving you very brief because it needs to be explained, but I think this will help you for sure. Then we hope this helps you. Thank you. So my rank in the JEE, okay, Abhishek is asking, okay, something around 2000. Well, I would have come in less than 500. Then because of the, what happened, 20 minutes of the wait, I got around 1000 rank. So I got IIT Kharagpur. And then as he announced that, I got 9.6 in my first or second semester, like that. And then I changed my branch and I got a better rank that way. Okay. I have a small question, maybe one more I take and I end for day. I have another meeting. I have to go for it. What is it? Adhav King is asking, one who has failed in a situation has to learn his lessons and work harder to be successful. But one who is successful has to work more harder to maintain his success, right? You see, everyone has to work hard, whether you receive failure or you receive success. I hope the question is clear. The question is that one who has got failure has to work hard to get success. So is it not that one who has got success has to work even harder to remain successful? Fine, that's fine. That's not which we debate about. The point which I'm talking about is attitude. You see, if success is making you proud, if success is making you feel that I am great, and this world is like a hotel, there are people who are programmed towards success. Recently, I heard that there was a boy who passed out from IIT Chennai. And this boy was like somebody who always was on the topper's rank, and then he went to IIT Chennai, and then after that, he had very good marks and he got very good job. Always programmed towards success. He never faced his failures in life. And then he went abroad and he married, good wife, and the 2 children, etc. Suddenly one day he faced the failure. He never faced failures before all that. He was not knowing how to face failures. So he was programmed towards success and he started thinking that this world is going to be like what? The hotel instead of school. That's what I was talking about. So for this man, when he faced suddenly a situation where he was thrown out of his job, because he was like no longer he has a job because of certain reason, and then he started thinking about he could not take it. Suddenly he did not have finances to maintain. He had a costly house for which he was paying rent, and suddenly all of that started breaking down. He started getting so much of pressure and he became so fearful of further situation. What did he do? Just in a few months he was like so panicky. He went into the bad habits, and then finally brought a revolver, talked with his wife and said that I can't take it up, and shot his wife, shot his children, and then shot himself. This is a real story. Okay, this is a real story of one of the IITians. So this is a recent one. These incidents are there. There are many people who are like this. They are programmed. They are only thinking about success. They are not thinking about failures. That's what my program was all about. Failures are going to happen in everyone's life. If you have not faced failures till now, you see, wait and watch. Everyone will have to see that. If there is someone who says I'm not going to fail anytime, they're wrong. There's someone who are going to give you a wrong worldview. If somebody says you attend my program, you're never going to face failures, cheating you. Right? So therefore, dear friend, what I was talking about was not about working hard or not working. I was talking about attitude towards life, right? Attitude, worldview should not be the hotel worldview. Worldview should be school worldview. You should prepare yourself for such challenges which come and be flexible and take that direction and go ahead. Okay, last question for the day. Okay. I have a fear of writing exams due to previous experiences. I feel slightly scared as I feel I'm not prepared even if I'm feeling well prepared for it. So what should I do? Probably that's what he's asking. Is there any other question which I have? Okay, that question came twice. How to get it time? Recall? Okay, fine. So I'll just summarize this. Fine. So he's saying that due to previous experiences of failures, when I next time approach an exam, I also have that in my mind, I will fail again. So that's what I'm talking about. That means you're not flexible. That means you're thinking only in one way that, I can't change my situation. I think when I come to the next part 2 of my session, I'm going to talk about Rajoguna and I'm going to talk about Sattva-guna. So the more, whoever has asked this question, I'm not able to read your name. So if the more you are increasing your sattva, the more you're increasing the mode of goodness, this kind of remaining in the past will go away. People those who remain in the past are those who are in the mode of ignorance or mode of passion at the maximum. Whereas mode of goodness, people can look ahead, come out. They come out of that situation. Just like that elephant was still stuck up in that situation. He did not want to come out. So he remains in the past. The same fear remains. Whereas people those who are in sattva, they are more thoughtful. What do they think about this? Just because last time I made a mistake doesn't mean that I will do the same thing. I will prepare myself more and I will go ahead. So do not fear. Fears are okay. It's okay to feel, to have fear, but don't become too fearful. Right? You understand? Fear is okay. If I'm like, I had a stage fright, fear. I had a stage fear. First time when I went to the stage and I spoke, oh my God, my legs were wobbling, my sound was shivering, and I could not speak anything properly. But did I declare myself to be a failure? Next time when I came on the stage, I was thinking, okay, last time I made this mistake, I'll do it better. So you practice. You learn from your previous mistake, you practice. You go ahead in life. Don't remain stuck up. Dear friend, for next time when you come, I'm going to give you certain more processes by which it's easier for you to go ahead. Today you have learned what is the formula. Next time you'll be able to more easily apply it also, because I'm going to talk about Sattva-guna. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to end this program today. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be with you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, dear friends.